Hello boys and girls, now that we have created our square, we are now going to make a tessellation, or kind of like a quilt-like pattern. So the first thing you want to do is move your sprite up to the very top corner. Let's get it as close to the edge as you can and get it up in that corner. So once you are here, then you are going to give it that XY position. We are going to learn a new tool under the More Tools. It's called Pen. So you're going to click on the Pen tool, and it's going to bring you some new blocks. So we are going to be using a stamp tool that will make a stamp of the sprite. And then anytime you use a pen tool, you will need an erase all. So I'm going to bring out a couple of those because we're going to need them. So now the first thing I want to do is since I'm going to be stamping things, I'm going to start with the erase. So now I'm going to go to this position, and now I want it to stamp. So now I click this, and now if I moved it, you would see that it has a stamp underneath it, just like if you had stamp with ink. Now it has that there. So now when I click the flag, now I want that same stamp to go here. So I'm going to say move stamp, move stamp, move stamp. So this is a repeat and a loop, so we're going to be using some loops as well. So now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do just a little experiment. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to move my 10 steps. How big is this actual square? So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8's a little too much, so I'm just going to keep it at 7. So it won't line up exactly, but that's okay. So I'm going to hit, so I know that that's going to be 70 steps because 10, so I'm just going to keep that there to remind me. So, but I don't want to just say move, I want to do a glide. So I'm going to say glide, and I want it to go to the same X position, the same Y position, but I want it to go over 70. So there is a new code down here called X position, Y position. So I'm going to say X position and Y position. And then I'm going to use an operator. So I'm going to say the X position plus, my X position plus, remember, that reminds me, 70, plus 70, and I'm going to put it here, and then I want it to stay at that Y position. So now when I put this here, if I add this here and then I click this, it goes over 1. And if I want it to stamp again, I'm going to have to add another stamp. So how many times does it need to repeat this? So I'm going to say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 seems like a good number. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say repeat 6 times. So when I do this, there it is. And it didn't stamp there because I didn't have it connected there. So I'm going to bring it back over here, and I'm going to connect this. But now what I want to do is I want the sprite to now move down here. So I know I'm going to need another glide. And I'm going to go to my glide, but this time I know that I'm going to want to go to that same X position. So make sure you type in that same X position. And so now I'm going to say I want it to go to the Y position minus 70 because I know it's the same, squares are the same length. So now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say minus 70. So I'm going to come over here too. And this time I'm going to say Y position because I already have the Y position up here, but I want that to go down 70 so that way it'll go down. So I'm going to come down here and get my Y position. And do you remember how much do I do it? I am minus 70. So I'm going to put that right here, and I'm going to just add this here. But if it goes down here, then I need it to stamp again. So I'm going to add another stamp. I'm going to add another stamp. And now let's see, how many times do I think it will get down here? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 again. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get one more repeat or loop, and I'm going to say repeat this part 6 times. And then I can hit this. Let's see what it looks like. Now if you want it to go faster, you could change this to be a 0.5, and that will speed it up just a little bit. Now the last thing I want to show you is that having the same color makes it not as interesting. So there is another block that you can add in here, and you could say change the color. So I could come over here and I'm going to say change the color. So I'm going to have it go, stamp, change the color. Go, stamp, change the color. So now when I play it, every color is a little bit different. And so it makes the pattern a little bit more interesting, and you can play around with that however you would like to do it. And if you wanted to, you could add an erase all here, have it change costumes, and then repeat it again for how many ever times that you wanted to repeat that. So then you can make lots of different types of tessellations. I hope you have so much fun on this project.